What's happening guys, it's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and this is our review of the Honor 5C, which runs on the company's own Kirin 650 SoC, which packs 4 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 2 GHz and another 4 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 1.7 GHz. You have 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of onboard storage, 13 megapixel rear and 8 megapixel front-facing camera. You have almost all the sensors available on the phone except the gyroscope. Now let's get to the build of the device. We'll talk about the rest of the specs as we go along. So you have a metal unibody construction here, metal buttons which are on the right. They do have good tactile response. They don't wobble and have good travel as well. If you move to the top of the phone, you'll find the audio jack as well as the secondary noise cancellation mic, which does help during calls. At the bottom of the phone, you have the micro USB port, the single speaker and the microphone of the device. Now this might be a bit disappointing for some people because this phone comes with a hybrid SIM card slot arrangement, so you can either use 2 separate SIM cards or 1 SIM card and 1 micro SD card. With 16 gigs of storage, I think you would have to go with the SD card. Now as I was saying, this phone comes with a metal build and it looks really neat. This is one of the most beautifully designed smartphones I've seen in this price segment. At least it's a bit different. Yes, there is a bit of a camera hump with that 13 megapixel f2.0 camera at the back, but it still looks pretty decent. Now talking about that fingerprint sensor, it is quite fast. If you see, rest your finger ever so slightly and it gets the job done. Now there are a few things you can use a fingerprint sensor for, like scrolling through images. You can take photos with it as well. So yes, it is multi-purpose. Now coming to the front, you have an 8 megapixel camera which does take decent selfies. You have a notification LED, proximity and light sensors. Now as I was saying, you do have a notification LED, but it's just too small to be of any consequence. It's barely visible and especially on the white color, you really can't see it that well. Now at the bottom of the display you can see that you have on-screen buttons, which is always good addition. I would have liked if the chin of the device was a bit smaller. Now this phone comes with a 5.2-inch 1080p display, and yes, the display has good viewing angles. It is quite sharp and it is visible in direct sunlight too, although there is no protection on top. You do get a screen guard pre-applied. Now talking about network and call quality, that's where we didn't have any issues with the device. Call quality was good, network reception over both 4G and 3G was good on the device as well. Now one thing this phone does lack is support for the 5 GHz Wi-Fi band, which is a bit strange given this is a new SoC. But you do have Wi-Fi hotspot, Bluetooth and USB tethering available on the phone. GPS also did work fine here. Now talking about the rear camera, it does take images quickly. There are some filters baked in as well. So as I was saying earlier too, you have a 13 megapixel rear camera and you have a very robust manual mode available if you are into that sort of a thing. And again, you can use the fingerprint sensor to take images, which makes much more sense for the front-facing camera. Now you have that Pro mode available where you can control pretty much everything about an image. The front-facing camera does a pretty decent job as well, especially when you are outdoors. The beauty mode does work fine, which you can guess from here. Now talking about the rear camera again, it does struggle a bit with focusing when you are trying to take close-up shots, and especially during night or when the lights get low, the camera struggles quite a lot with focusing. But when you are outdoors, yes, it does take good images. Good solid color reproduction, although it does struggle with pink and green colors. Now one thing I have noticed is images don't have a lot of detail, but they still look good. They are good enough for sharing on social media. The Lure 2 in this price segment has a better camera. This one is slightly better than the Redmi Note 3, but below both the Moto G4 Plus and the Galaxy J7. Video quality is again just about decent. Now one good thing about audio on the device is that the speakerphone here is quite loud. It doesn't sound that much tinny, and well, it doesn't distort at full volume as well. The audio through the headset jack is just about decent. It won't blow your socks off, but at least it is loud and decent headphones would sound good on the device. Now talking about software, you have Android Marshmallow running on the device with the company's own EMUI skin on top. There's quite a lot of customization baked in. You can edit the quick toggles as well. And if we jump into settings, you will see that there is quite a bit of difference there too. And you can see right here EMUI 4.1, which is based on Android Marshmallow. Now this is a 16 gig device, out of which you will get about 10 odd gigs when you get the phone. USB OTG is not supported here. However, you can move app and app data both to the external SD card, which is quite rare for a Marshmallow smartphone. Now you have 2 gigs of RAM on the device, out of which about 7 to 800 odd megabytes is generally free on the phone. Because RAM management is really aggressive here. You have this dual window mode available, which is quite restrictive because you can't add too many apps. Even Chrome wasn't available to be added here. But well, at least it works. Now web browsing was smooth here. In general, performance is decent on this device. You have a performance mode where you don't see as many lags in the interface. Yes, the interface did lag a few times. And as I was saying, memory management is not the best on this phone. If you load 2 or 3 apps, the 4th and the 5th tab generally always reload. I think with 3 gigs of RAM, this phone would have performed a lot better, or probably with a lesser aggressive garbage collection technique. So in terms of general performance, this phone does quite alright, but when it comes to gaming, you see a lot of lag. Especially in the higher end games, even Asphalt 8 at medium settings did lag, and yes, we tried the games in performance mode as well. Even Modern Combat 5, Nova 3 did show quite a bit of frame drop. They are playable however on the phone, but it's not that enjoyable. Which brings me to another point, battery life on the device, which is actually quite good, especially when you are in the smart mode. Yes, performance mode does take a bit of a toll on battery life. But in general, yes, this phone would last you 1 full day with moderate use and with about 3.5 to 4 hours of screen on time. But one thing, this phone doesn't have fast charging and takes quite a bit of time, around 3 hours to charge with the charger that comes within the box. With a faster 2 amp charger or a Qualcomm quick charger, it does charge in about 2 to 2.5 hours. But that doesn't come bundled with the phone. So folks, here's my final verdict on the Honor 5C. It performs decently well, you have a very good display, solid build quality, great design, a good fingerprint sensor, decent cameras which work well when you are outdoors. When you come indoors or under artificial light, these don't work out that well. Now gaming is definitely not a forte for this smartphone, but at least it doesn't heat up with extended usage. So overall, the Honor 5C is a decent buy in this price segment, especially for great design, a very good display, and a form factor which makes the phone very good to hold in hand. So those were my 2 cents about the Honor 5C. I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe to the channel for more such videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and as always, have a great day.